Welcome back to our coverage of the Beyond Boundaries Women's Scottish T20 Cup Finals Day here at Perth's glorious Dewcote Park, where Watsonians are through to play West of Scotland in the final after an epic semi-final win over Stewart's Melville, chasing 113. Watsonians got there in the final over thanks to a terrific knock from Niamh Muir, who ended with 40 not out as the side sealed a 4-wicket win. If you were with us earlier, you'll have seen a very different semi-final when West of Scotland romped to a 10-wicket win over Grange. The whole thing wrapped up in little more than an hour, really. But we're certainly looking forward to seeing what comes next as both teams look to put their name on this trophy for the first time. I'm Jake Perry, joined again by Lee Casbrick. And as I was saying, two very different games we've seen at Dewcote Park so far, Lee.
Yeah, very much so. It's been a tale of two different stories, but both teams are going to go into this very confident. Obviously, Watsonians got off to a great start with the ball, but it was in that tight bit at the end that they managed to scrap through, whereas the West of Scotland obviously romped the Grange. So, yeah, both teams will be very confident going into this game.
Well, the news from the middle is that Watsonians won the toss and have elected to bat first. So we'll have Naomi Sheikh opening the bowling from the end closest to us here in our commentary position as before, when she did to such devastating effect in the semi-final. And opening for Watsons we have Molly Payton and Emily Tucker.
Yeah, Molly did a really good job in the first game, in the first semi-final. She got off to a 28 off only 17 balls, team off to a good start, so should be hoping to replicate that in this game as well.
Yeah, she did get away to a roaring start. Emily was actually the first wicket to fall with the score on 19, and she fell for a duck, so all the runs had gone to Molly at that point in the semi. But new page, new game, and Naomi Sheikh to open the bowling in this final. Hey, Nan runs straight away, just edged away there, edgily, can I say that? I've just said it, so
Carved.
That's fine. I've carved, there's the word. So a single, and Watsonians are away. Nice day here. It's still quite cloudy, but certainly warm. Quite humid out there. A little bit of a breeze, but very pleasant conditions anyhow. That's punched away for another single. Emily Norris doing the fielding there. So it brings Molly Payton back on strike. and take advantage of the slight misfield there. Another single.
I think this will be an area of strength with both Payton and Tucker as they're running between the wickets. I think they're really going to push the field.
Certainly the early signs very much looking to push. So two very different semi-finals, as we were saying. One going down to the last over, one finishing very early. I mean, as a player, which position would you rather be in? You know, having had that longer break, or having had the intensity of the game that you've just played and come through?
I think the biggest thing for Watsonians is probably realising that they've not already played their final. I think sometimes when you've got a close game like that, you've got all the adrenaline, you've probably used a lot of it to get over the line in a close finish. So hopefully they've had a little bit of time to reset and then can push on in this final as well.
So the over ends, and with the score on 3. Tidy start for Naomi Sheikh, and it's going to be Emily Norris once again, who again opened the boards, bowled at the other end in the first semi, bowled the second over. And again, just not quite getting hold of that. Molly Payton, so a dot to start with. And driven, but again straight to the fielder, but again a misfield. So there's going to be at least a couple there. And coming back for the third on the throw, so productive shot for Molly Payton, takes her on to 5. Brings Emily Tucker onto strike. And just using the feet to force that one out into the covers, but to no run. And then Watson lurking in the covers. That's uppish, and there's fielder underneath it, and it's safely taken. So the first wicket falls, Naomi Sheikh with the catch, and Emily Tucker, the batter, out just for a single. So Emily Norris strikes in the second over, the Watsonians 6 for 1.
Yeah, she's been in such good form today. She's got Emily Tucker caught by Naomi Sheikh at mid-on. It's a good catch. Not easy with the sun in her eyes.
Yeah, a little bit of a swirling wind, as we were saying too, so not the easiest to judge, but very safely taken by young Naomi.
And the match winner of the last game, Naomi, comes to the crease. She'll be looking to try and do a similar job to what she did in the semi-final. She's got an exciting cricketer to watch, plays all around the ground, possesses good power as well.
Yeah, it was a terrific performance in the first game. Just really controlled and aggressive when necessary. Took the team home with about 4 balls to spare. And she's solidly in behind that one. Opening up. and Neve caught on her heels a little bit there, but safely through for a single. Molly Payton calling her through. So that ends the second over. Score on 8. Productive one then for Emily Norris. First wicket. So 8 for 1, Watsonians after 2.
Sure.
And a little bit of shifting beside me as Lee makes way for 150 cap Scotland legend that is Lorna Jack.
Thank you, Jake.
Welcome, Lorna. Playing in the first game, of course. I could feel the daggers behind me as I was going through the details of the first game.
It was a really good game. Really good game. No. Yeah, unfortunately, Grange didn't turn up, and I didn't turn up, so yeah, West of Scotland's are the worthy winners, to be fair. And yeah, just unfortunate that we had to play them in the semi-final.
So Naomi Sheikh continues. A couple off the first ball and a dot with the second. So as the Watsonians pair just feel themselves into this innings.
Yeah, she's definitely been bowling well for all the age groups in the women's team, and in training, hooping it into you. Not easy to play, so yeah, took a lot of our girls, I think, by surprise this morning, and she'll be hoping for the same again in this final.
Yeah, we were saying on commentary, just shaping the ball in really nicely and straight. So it was,
yeah,
you know, you miss, I hit. I think seven bowled in the Grange innings this morning. That's driven. Just be a single. So Lorna in the squad for Spain. Qualifiers coming up next month. That's the Women's T20 World Cup qualifier, the Europe edition, against France, Italy and Netherlands.
Yep.
What are your feelings about that?
Yeah, really excited to get back out with the girls. We've obviously kind of just come home from a trip to the Netherlands. We've had a couple of weeks home now. That trip maybe had its highs and had its lows, but we've not been on the field together for quite a while. I won't say how long, but we've not been on the field together for quite a while. So definitely good to get that in place to dust the cobwebs off, and hopefully we'll go in and really make our stamp on European qualifiers.
And a wicket as we speak. Naomi Sheikh strikes again. Very full delivery, and that's cleaned up Neve Muir. So, say the batter that took Watsonians home in the semi has to go for just 4. So 14 now for 2 Watsonians, and West of Scotland will feel they've got an opportunity here. Excellent piece of bowling there.
Absolutely. They've got a dangerous batter out as well, only to be replaced by another dangerous batter, so they'll be hoping for another quick wicket here, but hopefully Anne's just going to stand their ground.
Yep, Anne Sturgis, new batter. Coming in to join Molly Payton. Yeah, so what we're saying about the tri-series that you've just played through in the Netherlands, it's amazing how much you've got to make those opportunities count, because they are few and far between.
Absolutely. We've not played much international cricket since our World Cup qualifier, which was back in 2022, at the end of 2022. I think it was September, October. So it has been a while. We've got a lot of girls playing down south in all the different competitions, and kind of getting picked up by teams down there, which is really good for the team. But it does mean that when we come together, we've not seen each other for quite a while. So it's about just relearning what everyone is about and what they've been working on and where they are with their game, and trying to do that quickly. But Spain's coming up. We've got a really good opportunity to go out and top that table, and go to the World Cup qualifiers. I definitely think we can do that. Our team on paper, or our squad on paper, is the strongest squad I think that we've ever had. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be going out and dominating.
Nice shot there, just punched away, sadly only for 2. Just held up just in the outfield, allowed Alan Watson to fire the ball back in. So Molly Payton moves on to 12 off just 8.
Ellen won't be happy, she's just been made to run to the boundary.
So, I mean, how is it for, you've kind of hinted at it there, but for team spirit, when you don't see each other for long periods of time, certainly the full squad, how difficult is it to kind of slot back into that groove again?
It can be quite difficult. I could sit here and say, oh, nothing changes, but it can be quite difficult at times, I think, because there's players obviously up in Scotland working really hard, there's players down in England working really hard, and when you come together, you're kind of someone that you've played in a team with for years and years and years, that maybe couldn't do something when you last saw them, can now do it, and it's like, oh, okay, right. So it changes the game and kind of just makes it a bit more difficult. But to be fair, we're quite a close knit team anyway, and we're definitely not afraid to chat. So it's quite easy to kind of pick up where you've left off, no matter how many months have passed.
Yeah. And of course, on a personal note, 150 caps now.
Yep, 151 actually.
151? Whoa. Cricket Archive's not updated.
Yeah, no, it's
fantastic though.
No, it's a really special moment for myself in Holland when Brycey started reading her wee speech to me. There was almost a tear, almost, but not quite. But yeah, no, I've been around the team a long time, and I'm really glad to kind of see where we're going and where we've been at and where we're going now with it. There's been a lot of changes, and I think stuff that happens off the pitch, maybe not within our kind of grasp. We just come and we play, and that's all we can do. But it's been really great to be part of it all for the past however long, 16 years it was. A long time. So yeah, no, it was really special to get that, because I actually thought I was getting it the following day. So she did actually manage to surprise me, because they're not normally very good at hiding the caps behind their back, but she actually managed it. So yeah, no, really special, and special to have it presented in front of the team, and yeah, a nice day.
Fantastic. Well,
and I didn't get out for a duck that day, so that was good.
Well, congratulations of us all. It's
Thanks
just a
very
fantastic achievement. So, new over begins. Watsonians 21 for 2. Naomi Sheikh's about to begin her third over, successful in the last one. And Sturgis on strike. Oh, and a swing and an inside edge. And a direct hit. So, oh my word. So
that was all happening there.
It was all happening there. So, and setting off for the run, which wasn't there, and rightly sent back by Molly Payton, and the direct hit sends her back. So, not what Watsonians are wanting. at this stage. 21 for 3 now. And maybe a pressure wicket?
Absolutely. I was actually just about to say, I don't know if Naomi will bowl out or overs, but the way she's going, it looks like she might. And at knowing West of Scotland, they do have quite a lot of options as well in terms of bowling. They're not just going to rely on her to take the wickets up front, but it's always handy when your opening bowler does that.
Yeah, Lee and I had that exact same conversation at the start. In the first game, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's the card so far. So not happy reading for Watsonians just now. So 3 wickets down, just 21 on the board. I think there's a lot on the shoulders of Molly Payton now going forward. And that was about as plumb as they come, I think. So, are we on for team hat tricks? Do you believe in those things?
I mean, I do when I'm in the team.
Yeah, I suppose.
Not when I'm against them.
2 wickets and 2 balls anyway. As Naomi Sheikh strikes again.
No, absolutely. And as you said, I think a lot is going to rest here on Molly Payton's shoulders.
Yeah, Katie Anderson.
They need to be getting her in the strike.
Yeah, Katie Anderson has to go first ball. So 2 for 9 now in her third over. As Erin Leslie comes out to face the next one.
I like this from Naomi. She's coming away to Spain with us, so if she's in this sort of form, then I'm enjoying that. I don't enjoy facing it, but I enjoy it when I'm just watching.
It's good on our side.
Yeah. It's good when she's in your team. I think throughout this season and the league as well, West of Scotland's been probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest team to face. One of the hardest teams to play.
Yeah, they've been consistently good for a few years now, haven't they? Beaten finalists a couple of years ago.
Yep.
In this competition. Very close to the league title, pipped by Carlton. And the left-handed Leslie survives the first ball. So we don't get the team hat-trick anyway.
Yeah, I think it just shows you a couple of years ago. I don't think the West Scotland team's changed that much in the past couple of seasons, so it just shows you if you can keep your players and what you can do in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, very much so.
Leslie not liking that.
And another falls. So Erin Leslie has to go. Another wicket for Naomi Sheikh, who's really on fire today.
She got her line in length just right there. She saw on the first ball it's moving away from the left-hander, and she saw on the first ball that it is still moving, so just angle it in a wee bit more, taking the stumps. It's so impressive.
4 wickets in the first game, 3 so far in this. And yep, she's not done yet.
Should I give her the commentary curse? Is she going to get her 5-er?
So the score stuck on 21. Now 3 wickets have fallen with the Watsonian score on 21. So the new batter, Elizabeth Abbey. And West of Scotland cock a hoop again. Just one fielder out of the ring, so a lot of pressure on the batter. And
there it is.
Well, full straight. Another wicket for Naomi Sheikh, who has bowled absolutely beautifully today. Now on a hat-trick, 4th wicket in the over. First one being a run out.
I'm just going to put it down to the West Coast water. That's what it is.
Must be that.
That's what I'm putting it down to. I didn't get back home and have some of that.
Watsonian still trapped on 21. Well, real shades of this morning. I'm sorry to have to say that again.
Oh no, that's okay. You keep going. We'll have words at the end of this.
But, yeah, the clatter of wickets was the feature of the West bowling this morning, and it's very quickly turning into this afternoon.
It's bad to say, but actually this makes me feel a little bit better, to be honest.
It's just that day, isn't it? Sarah Hatch is the new batter with Watsonians 21 for 6. Face the hat-trick ball. All the fielders in.
And for a fiver.
And for a fiver. Fiver? For a fiver. And safely negotiated. Well, that ends what you might call an eventful over. 4 wickets, a triple wicket maiden, plus the run out. So 4 for 9, Naomi Sheikh at the moment. Watsonians 21 for 6.
I think I might need to ask her for some hints and tips.
Yeah, I liked your bowling earlier on. I was saying to Lee, I don't think I've seen you bowl before.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it so they give me a Scotland call up, you know. But
You were bowling on Wednesday.
I should bowl whatever they need. A jack all trades, a master of none.
Whatever the skipper says,
Yep.
you're there.
That's it. Do you need a leg spinner today? I'm in.
So Molly Payton, who it feels like for an age since she's been on strike, still there, 13 not out. That one sliced away, that's going to be safe. Just be a single. And the score, with relief, moves on to 22. Just fended out there by Sarah Hatch.
It's the predicament that Molly's in now. Do you try and take on the boundaries, try and get the twos, or hit the singles and get off strike?
It's one off the pad. Another one to the total.
Sometimes in cricket you just take them any way you can.
Any way you can, definitely. And swung away really powerfully. That's a cracking shot from Molly Payton. One bounce and over the rope for a much needed boundary.
it's great to see that confidence from such a young player as well. Just your team's kind of falling apart round about you, and you've still got that confidence to take on that ball and know that you can hit that boundary and get your team a few more runs. So really good from Molly there.
Yeah, Payton moves on to 27. With that, the first boundary of the innings. Payton to 18, I beg your pardon, the score to 27. Emily Norris in again. And this time driven through the offside, and that is also going to find its way over the rope. So back-to-back boundaries, which will make Watsonians feel a little bit better about life.
I think there's a bit of a sigh of a relief there.
Yeah. So that ends the over. That makes a little bit of a mess of Emily Norris's figures. 1 for 20 from her 3 overs so far. Ends the power play with the score 31 for 6. Payton on 22 off 14, and Sarah Hatch still to get off the mark. So yeah, Naomi Sheikh to continue. This will be the final over of her spell. Well, beautifully 4 for 9. Can she get a 5 for?
Ooh.
Lots of heads in hands at that first one. And oohs coming from behind me.
It'll be nice to have her in my team tomorrow when we play Ireland through West.
Yeah, Scotland Day, isn't it tonight, it would?
Yeah, Scotland Day all week. So a couple of 50 overs on the Tuesday, Thursday, and then T20s Monday, Friday.
Excellent.
So it'll be nice just to get out and play. And
yeah, all more prep for September too.
Absolutely.
A lot of the players. Fired in. Game well dealt with by Hatch. Quite high up on the bat, but safely away.
Varying it slightly more than she has done the last 3 overs.
Yeah, you can see the confidence. And that one punched through, asking if there was an edge. The batter helpfully indicates it was a pad.
We all say that. No.
Yep. Starts rubbing the knee or something like that. Oh, and picked off middle stump there with the inside edge. Squirts square.
This must be what family and friends feel like when they're watching all of us playing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And that's going to be Hatch off the mark just with a single. That'll bring Molly Payton back on strike. So a final delivery of the spell. See if Naomi can get that 5 for.
They'll be celebrating a lot if it's Payton she gets out and she gets her 5 for.
Yes.
I'm looking at her dad right now. He's just standing.
Yes, intent.
Quietly.
Yes.
I thought
and
it was
again,
there.
that was beautifully bowled. And just shaped back in, just knocked out from middle stump.
A great spell from Naomi there.
Yep, 4 for 11. She finishes with another fantastic spell to go with that other 4-wicket haul she got this morning. 4 for 7. Yeah, not a bad day's haul.
I'm going to ask her why she keeps not getting her 5 for. This week. That's what I'm going to put it down to.
Yeah. So a change in bowling, and Jenna Stanton, who again bowled really well this morning to clean up the Grange innings. 3 for 2 off 10 balls that she bowled. So Molly Payton back on strike. Again, the key player now for Watsonians, that's for sure.
Oh, that's well hit.
Yeah, nicely driven away. Looks like it's going to get to the rope, is it?
No.
Or just stopped inside? So, just a couple.
I've never seen Ella move so quickly. There's so many lumps and bumps out there that you think you're 1 minute run up a hill, then down, then up, then up.
Yes. And again, Ellen Watson doing the work to collect that, keep that to a single. So Molly Payton moves on to 25. Score to 37. Just drag down, that's called a wide. So 38 the total moves on to. But those 6 wickets down is the crucial figure. And again,
Hi everyone.
the dot ball as Lorna leaves us. So the over ends then with the score 38 for 6. 2 for Payton-Hatch. Molly Payton still there on 25 as Moon Mugis comes on from this end, and a new co-commentator
Not as good as me though.
comes in beside me. Lorna's Scotland teammate Megan McCall. Welcome, Megan.
Hello.
What have you made of it so far?
Good start from West of Scotland, and I'm sure they'll be looking to continue their great performance and hopefully get Watsonians all out here, I would think.
Yeah, that's certainly what they're looking for. See if they can kind of keep the pressure on. So just 2 fielders outside the ring from Mugis. We've got deep mid wicket, and we've got deep backward point. So, and slight misfield, gets safely through for a single despite the attempt to run out. So yeah, Moon, a former Scottish Cup winner, along with her daughter Naomi Sheikh, for the West combined side as it was back then in 2018, not West of Scotland as such, but a combined team from the West. It shows how this tournament has developed over the years. That's uppish, but that's going to be safe. And through the fielder, so they're going to pick up a bonus run there on the misfield. So Payton-Hatch moves on to 4. So Megan, you involved in the Scotland qualifier next month, of course, as well. How are you feeling about it?
Obviously it's great to be selected again to go away to the qualifiers. Obviously being part of the one in 2021 where we managed to get the win, so I think we'll be hoping to do the same again.
And having just graduated from Napier University, you've got plans for the winter ahead too?
Yeah, so plan is to go and do a season on the other side of the world in Australia. So hopefully going out there not long after Scotland stuff kind of slows down a bit. So yeah, should be good.
Excellent. So club cricket in Sydney?
Yeah, Sydney, yeah. So going to a club called Bankstown. So hopefully get to play some first grade cricket there. And just, I guess, get to experience playing in different country, different climates, and hopefully come back with a bit more knowledge and hopefully improve my game to bring back for the Scotland team. So yeah.
Superb. Well, tidy first over from Mumugis, just 4 from it. So Watsonians move to 42 for 6. So Jenna Stanton to continue. It's 5 from her first over. What do you make of Jenna as a bowler? Oh, and that's uppish, but that's going to drop safely. Just cleared the fielders. Sorry, Megan.
Yeah, I like Jenna, the way she bowls. You know, when she relaxes and bowls her best ball, she gets good flight and good dip on it as well.
That's pulled away nicely. It's been pulled in just before it reaches the rope, but another couple there. Somali Payton, who's shown some real aggression in the face of this difficult situation. So 21 for 6 it was, and these two have already doubled that, more than doubled that score. And again, another aggressive shot brings another 2. So Payton moves on to 30. And that's edgy, but again that's over the fielder's head, and then Watson comes round to tidy up. So 50 comes up for West. Sorry, for Watsonians. And what team is actually playing here? And Molly Payton trading in 2s at the moment, advancing her score 2 at a time. Breaks the sequence with a dot. So just talking a little about how the Beyond Boundaries Scottish Cup has developed, you know, with now the teams, what was a combined team from the West, we've now got, you know, a lot more club sides. But the same is true of the Women's Premier League, how that's evolved too, and of course with the Northern Lights. So how would you sort of characterise the domestic setup that we have just now in Scotland?
I definitely think it's improving from when I obviously first started playing women's cricket, and there wasn't that many teams, and now we've managed to develop, you know, the West of Scotland have managed to get their own side out, and obviously now having a team like up kind of representing the North as well, I think it's good to see, all parts of Scotland getting represented in terms of cricket, and hopefully in the future, the North teams can start bringing in a few more sides, and we can start, developing stronger, competitions, and so that there's a bit more of a emphasis on competing, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, I think it's 100% a lot better than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, certainly chalk and cheese, isn't it? I mean, as you can see, by the way, we have a drinks break at the moment. There's the card so far, the highlights so far. So Carlton women secured a hat-trick of titles actually this year, didn't they? But again, a competitive league all round.
Yeah, 100%. I think seeing teams like Grange finish in the top 3 or 4, it might have been, which you wouldn't. Last year they were at the bottom with Watsonians, and then obviously today having Watsonians in the final and not having Carrollton or Northern Lights here, who were obviously the winners last year. I think it just shows that anyone can compete. All the sides have the chance to win. So I think it's good. I think it's positive.
I think it's a really, really healthy place that we're in, and as you say, chalk and cheese, I guess, compared to where we were not so very long ago, and a big part of where we are now in terms of national side too is the central contracts that have just come in over the last few months. I mean, what sort of difference does that make to you, and will that make to you going forward?
I think bringing contracts in for some of the players now allows us to have more time to train, and then I guess train is a big squad as well, and it just gives us more time on task to hit more balls and bowl more balls, and just hopefully when we start playing more, coming into the qualifiers and I guess the Scotland Day series this week, hopefully we can start to show that us training more and the contracts are doing something for us, and hopefully the more international fixtures we get, then the better that will it'll start to reap the rewards, I guess, having the contracts for the players.
Certainly, and as we were saying with Lorna just before, that crucial thing of fixtures too, just trying to get more games, more time out in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all we need. Just a bit more games, more time in the middle. Help us win, score more runs. Well, we're ready to restart after the drinks break for 10 overs. 52 for 6. Watsonians Mumugis to continue her second over. Set a tidy start. A couple of singles and a 2 off her first over. Sarah Hatch on strike. Thought about the single, but decided against it. So stringing these dots together straight after drinks, keeping the pressure on, but Watsonians have done well from the place they were, 21 for 6. It was going south pretty quickly, but to get their way up past 50 is an excellent effort for the loss of no other wickets.
Yeah, I think these two have, they're starting to build a partnership. I think Molly's going about her innings very well, and if she can continue to do this, then hopefully it puts Watsonians in a
position to have a defendable score on the board.
Yeah, she's still striking at a really good rate as well. Molly Payton put 125 at the moment. 34 off 27. That's gone up. Fielder's underneath it, and that's taken. I don't know if that's what we call the commentator's curse, but that's a huge wicket, and you can see the delight of the West players with that. That's the danger player, Molly Payton, who's doing so well. 34. A couple of boundaries in there. A really excellent knock there for her side. But Mumugis has struck with the catch taken by Emily Norris. So 53 now for 7. And West back on top just when Watsonians thought they were having a little sniff of maybe turning this around. So Charlotte Navard is the new batter, and Mumugis has a wicket. That's nicely picked up and dragged a bit wide, but just helped on its way and over the rope. So there's a nice way to start. The batters celebrate like they won the game there. We hug in the middle. Great to see though. So Navard off the mark with a boundary, and let's go up to 57. So that ends that over. So Mumugis 1 for 9 from her 2. It's going to be Jenna Stanton to continue again. Some little adjustments to the field as we go. Most fielders in the ring still. One at long on, but keeping the pressure on. And that's over the top. Okay, nicely picked up there by Sarah Hatch. That's going to be at least 2. The fielders relay it in. And it is 2. That was the skipper Nadia Tolliday with the final throw back. And just off the inside edge, but safe, just for a dot. Again, asking the question with the umpire unmoved. Stanton, final ball of the over, and they're taking on the single, and a lot of sliding about, but it's eventually fielded. So 1 to the total. So 60 for 7 at the end of the over. Sarah Hatch on 10, and the new batter, Charlotte Navarre, still with that boundary. So Mumigis to continue. To the 13th over now, which at one stage it didn't look like we were going to get this far, but Watsonians have done really well, thanks in huge part to Molly Payton, to start to put some sort of total together that at least gives their bowlers something to try to defend. And that's another one to the total. Again, picks that up really nicely. Don't think that's going to go. No, that's stopped in the outfield. Naomi Sheikh doing the fielding. But another couple there to Sarah Hatch, who's starting to free her arms a little bit. There's a couple of shots over the top now. And another one, just pushed wide. So again, talking with Lorna just before, Megan McCall's still with me here, talking with Lorna about team spirit and all of that with everybody in. Oh, and there's a wicket, sorry. I will continue my question in a second. So Mumigis picks up her second as Sarah Hatch has to go. Presenting a fairly straightforward catch there to the skipper, Nadia Tolliday. So she goes for 12, being an important knock there, supporting Molly Payton in the initial stages, then trying to take it on herself there. But the score now 64 for 8. Moon picks up her second wicket. Yes, I was just going to ask, talking about team spirit and so on with people being in different parts of the country, but I suppose the flip side of that is the amount of new experience that you're getting coming into the squad as well.
Yeah, I think we've got, we do have a lot of people spread out around the world, having people coming in from Australia, people coming in from England, but I think having people experience cricket in different countries and at different levels, they can bring it to when they play for Scotland, and it helps us as a team, everyone can learn from everyone, and I think overall it helps us. And as Jacko said earlier, when we all kind of meet back up as a team again, we all just kind of slot back into place, and it's like we've never really been away. So I think it's nice having people, because then you can just, when you don't see people for a while, you're a bit like, oh, how you been, because you don't see them for 3 months or something. So it's actually really nice having people kind of spread out everywhere.
And great to see recognition that the Scottish players are now starting to get. I mean, Catherine and Sarah Bryce, of course, and Abtaha Maksud. But Hannah Rainey now, contract with the Oval Invincibles, and Catherine Fraser, of course, too. So really promising as that is another wicket, and that's a first wicket for Jenna Stanton, who has deserved that. I think she's bowled really nicely. But Charlotte Navard there has to go. So out for 4. Score 65 for 9. And there's a look at the card of where we are. So just the last pair now of Abby Blackstock and Tessa McDonnell left. See if they can move the score on a little more. But this has been a good performance, good comeback from West of Scotland after Molly Payton was threatening in that nice partnership that she had with Sarah Hatch to start to kind of pull Watsonians back into the game a little.
Yeah, I think West have just looked to, keep the pressure on Watsonians, and I think they've done just that. As soon as Molly's gone out, it's like, they've just kind of kept their foot on the gas and just looked to just, keep them to as low a total as possible.
And there's the final wicket, and the innings wraps up there as Tessa McDonnell is bowled. Second wicket for Jenna Stanton, and 65 all out is the total for Watsonians. So a really fine performance again, just as we're starting to say there, from West of Scotland. Really, they've been devastating with the ball today.
Yeah, they've been West have been pretty class. They've been disciplined and they've bowled the right areas, and they haven't really allowed the batters on either team to get away. I think it just shows how disciplined they are as a group.
Well, I'll just say, cracking performance from this side. They'll be feeling very confident, especially with the manner that they went around the chase in the semi-final, where it was knocked off very quickly without any loss at all. There's a look at the bowling figures. Everybody contributing. Headed by Naomi Sheikh with 4 for 11, 2 for 14 with Moon Mugis, Jenna Stanton 2 for 18, and the standout for Watsonians, that great knock from Molly Payton, 34 off just 28 balls. So we'll be back in a few minutes for the chase, where West of Scotland will need 66 to win the Beyond Boundaries Women's T20 Scottish Cup for the first time. Join us again. So welcome back to this, the final of the Beyond Boundaries Women's Scottish T20 Cup, here at the beautiful setting of Ducat Park in Perth, this historic ground built by A.K. Bell back in 1925. And we've seen, as you can see there, the summary of the first innings. Really strong performance from West of Scotland again with the ball, bowling out Watsonians for 65. That's going to be Anne Sturgis to open the bowling in the reply. And straight away off the mark there, Marion Fussell getting the chase away. So 65 required now to win. And Naomi Sheikh, her partner, left hand right hand combination, joined by Lee Casbrick again after Megan McCall went away in the interval. So what are you making of things so far then, Lee?
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant display from the West of Scotland. It looks like they just continued off from where they left in the semi-final, and I mean, we were having a look back at the previous games, and in the quarter-final, semi-final, and now in the final, the West of Scotland only bowled 4 bowlers throughout all those games. So it just shows how they've been able to take wickets and dot up. It's very impressive again from Naima as well.
Yeah, we were wondering who the fifth bowler was. Just wasn't needed.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to be that fifth bowler. You'd be rolling the shoulders over and trying to drop some hints.
Skipper. And wide there, straying down the leg side.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Watsonians will go about defending the small total. I mean, already you've got a slightly defensive field with Long off out against Naima. Oh, she's just starting to bring her up now. That's what Watsonians have got to do. They've got to try and find a way of getting wickets here.
Yeah, they've not got a lot of room for error here. Say that target just 66. And that's going to be reduced by another 1 there as Naima gets off the mark. And the field has to shuffle around again. I mean, how difficult is that? Especially for younger players, you know, when you've got this left-hand, right-hand combination and having to constantly reset and so on.
Yeah, I think it's probably something that they don't practice enough of. You know, even when you're facing left-handers in the nets, it's not something that you really need to think about. So definitely when I've been working with some of the girls, it's just getting them to think about, you know, that as being a possibility. And then hopefully when they get out into the middle, it will be a little bit easier for them. But it's never easy. It's annoying. That's how I describe the left-hand, right-hand combination.
And another wide. There moves the total on to 4. Yeah, so as a bowler, how does your mindset change when you're at the level that you're playing, you know, facing that left-hand, right-hand combination? That's a no ball above waist height there. And clip to weight.
Well, I guess for any off-spinner, it's pretty exciting when a left-hander comes on strike. Don't often get to bowl to them too often, but it's something that we try and thrive off, getting that opportunity. To be honest, not much changes. You know, just trying to keep it simple full and straight, ball at the stumps. How many balls can you hit the stumps? Just keep being that pesty line and length, really challenging. So for me, not a great amount does change.
Yeah, whatever the level, right? Isn't it full and straight as we saw this morning?
Yeah, it's just about keeping it simple. How often can you bowl your best ball?
I just thump that one down into the ground. Didn't quite get the purchase on that to turn that into a run there, Naomi Sheikh. Bird already 6 from this over with the 2 wides and the no ball. That's a nice looking shot, but straight to the fielder. So that brings the first over to an end. 6 without lost. West of Scotland. Another 60 to win the Beyond Boundaries Scottish Cup. It's turned into an absolutely beautiful day here. It's been a bit overcast, never cold, but looked slightly ominous clouds here and there from time to time, but nothing's materialised, and it's a beautiful day just now. The ground absolutely bathed in sunshine. Good crowd of people here watching too, enjoying the cricket. Beautiful late summer's afternoon. So new bowlers Erin Leslie, Miriam Fussell to face, and a speeder with that one. Slow and loopy, not quite sure what to do with that. That one driven nicely through the offside, through the covers. Lovely looking shot there. Was worth 4. It's not going to get 4. Just going to be a couple again. As we said, with all the rain that we've had in the area recently, it's been quite difficult to get a good cut on the outfield. So it's a little slower, I think, than they would have liked in an ideal world. But Scottish summer having its effect, and that's beaten the dive of the fielder. That's going to be another 2 again to Miriam Fussell. She started well. Again, these 2 picking up really where they left off in the first game. And that first match against Grange, knocking off the target off only 4.2 overs, reaching that target of 29.
Yeah, on that slow wicket, I think Leslie's just pulled her length back a little bit. It's better from her.
That was nicely played by Fussell there. Full toss, but waited for it. Again, the field moves round for the left-handed Naomi Sheikh. And loops that one up. Watchfully played along the ground there. So, over ends, 5 from it. West of Scotland on to 11 to win those 2 overs. Well placed in this chase. So runners up a couple of years ago, West of Scotland to Carlton, and the finals day was down in Dumfries. That's when Carlton secured the League and Cup double. So it will be a first for both teams if they were to lift this. George Watson's College lifted the cup in 2017 as that's clipped away and has reached the boundary. So Fussell continues on her merry way. So yes, George Watson's College, I remember 2017, the first playing of the competition in its present form, captained by Sarah Bryce that day. Catherine Bryce scoring 40 odd unbeaten as they beat Carlton. That's driven and straight through the fielder there. And away, yep, hasn't reached the rope again. And relay back, and they're going to take a third run on the throw there. It's a little sloppy with the relay, and I don't know if the fielder has hurt herself a little. Got a hand to that, perhaps. Yeah, looks like it.
It's good running from the two West of Scotland batters, putting pressure on the field. It's difficult to get boundaries here today, so when you can turn those twos into threes, it's absolute gold. It's just ill-disciplined here from Sturgis, so she's erred in line and length.
Yeah, that's far down leg again. Yeah, these are runs really that Watsonians don't have to play with. These two West batters, as Lee says, really showing great game awareness to keep the pressure up. I spotted that mistake in the field a couple of balls ago to turn 2 into 3. Sturgeon again, and that one better, straighter, and much fully played out. Thought about a run there, it wasn't picked up cleanly, but a dot. And again.
Yeah, next week, as you mentioned with Lorna and Megan, Scotland A playing against Ireland A. And I think I'm particularly excited about watching Mariam and Naima go about playing against slightly better competition. We've seen that in the club competition and in age group cricket they've dominated, so it'll be awesome to see how they go up against slightly better rivals. I think they're both well equipped to do well.
For sure, those games played at Titwood, Clydesdale's ground, where the men's final is taking place just at the moment. But these two fair racing along target already well below 50, and that sort of floated up outside off stump, and now we're disappointed not to really get hold of that a little more. But the over ends.
Yeah, I think already you can see the differences in the two teams. Like, it's good show-off display, change-ups, but you compare how many balls in the first 3 overs did the West of Scotland hit the stumps, and compare that to Watsonians in their first 3 overs. I think there's been like a massive difference. I think the West of Scotland, were really clinical. They brought in LBWs, bowls, really challenged the batters throughout. And we're not quite seeing that consistency from the West of Scotland. From Watsonians.
Yeah, absolutely. Literally from ball one of the semi-final, wasn't it? It was been really, really consistent. Excellent performance from this side. So Erin Leslie is going to bowl her second over. Fussell just waits for that and swings it away. That's backwards square. Again, not reached the boundary, but is another couple to the total. And in no time at all, Miriam's on to 16. Just 11 balls faced so far. To repeat the shot. Gets a little bit more of it that time. Still stops inside the rope, however. But again, another couple. Takes the total on to 24. So just 42 now required by West. So tries a different angle. Full toss, however, and that is going to reach the rope. That's beautifully dealt with by Marion Fussell. Can't bowl those, unfortunately, to a batter of the quality of Fussell. That was dispatched to the rope as she races along now to 22. The score to 28. And the target now in the 30s. And just back on a stumps to watchfully keep that one out. And again, really freeing her arms. It's just going to bring one.
I think Watsonians need to do something a little bit different in the next couple of overs. They've got to try and find a way of getting a wicket. I think we might see a change of bowling from the other end. Quite like to see Niamh Muir come on. She's got a little bit of extra pace about her, which might hurry the batters in.
Yeah, they need to find a breakthrough really urgently, because these two, again, like they did in the first match, the semi-final, are kind of romping home. So that over ends then with the score on 29. 4 overs down, target 66, so not a long way to go here for these two bright young talents really of Scottish cricket. So looking down the ground, I think your request has been answered there. It is Niamh Muir who's going to come on from the far end as we look from our position.
Yeah, an exciting all-round cricketer for Scotland. She went away to the Under-19 World Cup earlier last year. Am I getting mixed up with my years? This year? Last year. I feel like since COVID, all the years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know how you kind of second guess yourself.
I think it might have been this year.
I think it could have been this year actually as well. Yes. Anyway, whenever it was, she was with the Under-19s.
Yeah, she was.
Welcome.
She was. but obviously had that match-winning performance in the semi-final, so we'll be looking to try and bring this team home with the ball too.
So that's full toss there though, but that's only going to cost a single. And Sturgis fields at square leg. So it brings Naomi Sheikh back on strike. It's Marion that's been doing the lion's share of the scoring here. 17 balls, 24 runs. They were quite happy just to play the supporting role in some ways.
Yeah, I think it's the sign of a pair who've probably batted quite a lot together. I think in the semi-final, even though they weren't chasing a lot of runs, you could see that Naima was getting off a little bit earlier, with her shot scoring a little bit more freely than Mariam, and then we've got the reverse in the final, so shows good levels of maturity and a good partnership built.
Yep. That's good running again. Just good awareness from Fussell there to call a partner through for the single. As they switch again for the right-hander. If you can tell, there's a kind of billowing breeze blowing around us. You can maybe hear the noise of our tent blowing. Another one to the total there. This is the bite. Good looking shot there from Naomi Sheikh. Straight to the fielder, but running straight away. Never any danger of a run out there. So again, as Lee was saying, these two running really nicely between the wickets, showing good understanding. So at the end of that over, the fifth, Western Scotland are halfway there, 33 without loss. This target of 66. So what can you do in this position then as Watsonians? It's the $6 million question, of course.
Are there any rain clouds around? No, I think you just need everyone in the team to believe that they can do something special, that they can get a wicket, that they can get a breakthrough. Judging by the body language of Watsonians right now, it doesn't look like they have that belief. It only takes one ball though. One ball.
And we saw that flurry of wickets with the score on 21 also in the Watsonians innings, so have to believe they can do that too. As Katie Anderson takes over at this end. Let's see if she can find that desperately needed breakthrough just to get a foot in the door, toe in the door. See if they can work with that. And a good looking shot. And thought about the run on the misfield, but I think very wisely went back. So a couple of dots there to start Katie Anderson's over. What's she got now? That's just helped around by Naomi Sheikh just for another single. So Watsonians just looking to make their opponents work for every run. And again, that's been a productive area for Marion Fussell. That brings another single. Just in backward square. And driven. And
nice.
Through. That was at least sloppy then, just not getting body behind it. Costs a single. Anderson in again, firmly struck away, and that's going to be 2. Again, these two just keeping that scoreboard ticking along. That's all they need to do. Got all the time in the world here, not under a great deal of pressure. So the over ends 38 without loss. Now is the West of Scotland score. So just 28 required to secure the cup. That's going to be Neefmuir again.
So Jake, you've been involved with women's Scottish cricket for a while now. Have you noticed any differences between when this competition first started and now?
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, the standard of play is so much higher. The quality of what we're seeing. Some of the players coming through, the number of teams as well, and I know that Grange had a bit of a nightmare this morning. But to see where they've come in just a couple of years, really from starting off, reintroducing a team to Grange, and then really building from nothing to where they are now, to be in the position where they've qualified for the semi-final is really terrific. And yeah, I mean it's just how the women's game in Scotland has evolved all round. I think the strength of the Women's Premier League now, the Challenger League too, to provide some sort of pathway through there as well. I remember that being at the very first finals day when George Watson's College won, and there were youngsters there who were barely out of quick cricket really, and that we've got that layer now in between that gives them the opportunity to get used to the standard and so on is really important, and is really pleasing to see as well. But I mean, you'll see it yourself from when you were a youngster starting out playing with the boys. A lot of the time, where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any women's cricket when I was coming through, other than the senior national side. So it's just so good to see so many women and girls out there playing cricket and enjoying it, and I think just the amount of cricket they now have with all the different competitions, and then progressing into the regional series, and then now there's an emerging Scotland side, you've got an under-19 Scotland side, a Scotland A side. It's just fantastic to see the opportunities that the girls have now.
That's a lovely shot over the top again there from Marion Fussell. And coming back for the third, which they'll get quite comfortably on the relay there. That's good again, good awareness. That's a lot of running. You see Mariam just resting on her back there for a moment. Not a lot of boundaries today, boundaries at a premium. But she's batted really well now, moves on to 30. 33, beg your pardon. Scoreboard updates. But yeah, I mean, when you bear in mind that the national side really started in the year 2000, that was the beginnings of organised women's cricket in Scotland, really. Beyond some little flourishes that there were kind of beforehand in a couple of years or so, Linda Spence at the centre of a lot of that. But it's not a long time really to be where we are.
No, I think women's cricket's just progressing so quickly, and it's gaining a lot of traction in the last couple of years. That's only going to get bigger and bigger. I think obviously the introduction of the contracts is a good first step. For a lot of the girls, it's only 1 day a week, so they'll come in and train on a Wednesday, which is awesome to get them in for a whole day. But it'd be interesting to see when they have a series later against Ireland in October, who have been professional for a longer period of time, how they do against a fully professional side. There's still a massive gap in how much Scotland women can train, and it's great that you've got the girls who are able to play and train down in England and they're getting exposed to professional setups, but unfortunately that's just not the case here in Scotland yet.
Yeah, it was hugely telling, the Scotland's victory over Ireland in the last Europe qualifier in La Manga. Absolutely a fantastic performance against the full member side, as you say, fully professional full member side, and then that was basically it for Scotland's fixtures that year, whereas Ireland went away and straight to the field and in and out, and a life there for Naomi Sheikh. But yes, Ireland travelled away and played a series in Zimbabwe, and have the access to the funding and the full member fixtures that they have now. It's the playing field is so uneven. It's extraordinary, really. So Naomi Sheikh takes advantage of that tricky drop as to take herself off strike. The 8th run, total on to 46. And a full toss, given the treatment. And again, it's plugged in the outfield a little, but has gone for 4. Just rolled over the boundary. It's just out of sight of us in our commentary position. But the umpire helpfully signalling 4. It was certainly worthy of that, anyway. She moves on to 37. And a swing and a miss to follow up. So what's the next step then, would you say, for Scottish Cricket League? We've got the central contracts in, it's a good first step. So what would you like to see coming in next?
Well, I think it's a bit of a balancing act between must have more fixtures. Like the Scotland women just do not play enough cricket, but then on top of that, the people up here don't train enough either. So it's kind of a bit of a mixture of you need the fixtures, so you're playing cricket, but you need the training so that you play well in the fixtures that you have. So just more investment into the senior national women's side, I think, would be a good start. But I think that's when obviously your club cricket, your regional cricket, any cricket that the Scotland women can get is really important. They need to be playing more. They need to be exposed to more cricket. They need to be exposed to better sides. And over the last few years, that's what Scotland women have struggled with, is just getting those matches. I think it's like a massive part of people's learning and people's development is playing, being in different situations, how you adapt into them, watching a lot of cricket. I don't think enough women and girls in cricket generally watch enough cricket. I think you can get a lot of learning from that too. So I think obviously there's a lot of good stuff that's happening, but there's still a long way to go.
So that over ended, as you saw there, with a 4, despite the tumbling stop from Anne Sturgis. Found its way over the boundary. So Marion Fussell moves on to 41, closing in now on this target very rapidly. 54 the total, just 12 to win. So have a new bowler, Charlotte Navarre. Just a single off her first ball. So finds the edge there, but fielded too deep to take advantage. I guess when it's not going for you, it's not going for you. But West have certainly earned their luck today. Again, hit powerfully over the infield. It's just going to bring again a couple. I'm really conscious saying this after putting the mockers on Molly Payton earlier on, but this has been a fine knock from Marion Fussell, hasn't it? Beautifully driven there.
Yeah, she's hit beautifully all around the ground. I think that's been a real strength of hers throughout the season, is being able to hit different areas. Makes it difficult as a bowler as well. Where do you bowl? If she's someone who can access lots of different areas.
Yeah, she's looked in really good form. And again, didn't quite get hold of that one, but it will still get a single from it. So over from Charlotte Navarre ends, 6 from it, and now West of Scotland just 6 away from victory, and Marion Fussell just 4 away from a cup final half century.
She's been in such good form all the way through the season. It would be a fitting way to end, wouldn't it? Winning and being there, scoring the final runs for your team in a final.
I certainly would. I think West have absolutely dominated today with the ball, and then these two have absolutely dominated with the bat. So Abby Blackstock's going to get a bowl. So the 10th over. Again, a full toss, which Marion Fussell looks to take advantage of. I'll just bring her a single. Take it to 47.
Can see Ellen Watson from where we're sitting, who has been strutting around all day, refusing to sit down, coming in next to bat. Has not yet been required. Oh.
Yeah. Ellen padded up ready to go, but that was very nearly.
Yeah.
There, the shy at the stumps just missing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why the opening pair can play with such freedom, is knowing that they still have batters in the shed who can come in and do just as good a job. I mean, Ellen's one of the most exciting cricketers, I reckon, in Scotland at the moment. She's got sheer power.
Yeah, she can score very, very quickly and hurt you very, very quickly as an opposition. Again, no ball, which Marion Fussell doesn't quite get all of. Game brings a single, takes to 48, but that's going to be a free hit then for Naomi Sheikh to face. Now just 2 required for the win. Down the track and driven, just for 1 to bring the scores level. So 1 to win. Fussell needs 2 for a half century to really put the icing on it as the field comes in. Straight to the fielder, so a dot, and the over called. So we go in then to the 11th over with the scores level.
Yeah, the West of Scotland have just been by far the best team on show today. I think it looks like they've played really well as a team. I know only 4 people have bowled, but they look the most cohesive team out in the field. They've been the most disciplined. They've looked to take on the bowlers. I think they're very deserving to be winners of this competition.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. They've been absolutely outstanding from start to finish. From ball 1 of the first game, as I say, when Naomi Sheikh took that very first wicket. Worthy champions. So Molly Payton to bowl this 11th over, and that's up and over, and is going to be the win. Absolutely marvellous win for West of Scotland, again by 10 wickets. Totally dominant display. They come running onto the field to celebrate. Terrific performance, Lee.
Yeah, it's just great scenes. You can see how much it means to them. They've been the outstanding team throughout the competition, and this is incredibly well deserved. Well,
As I say, an outstanding performance from these two, backing up another clinical performance with the ball. Mariam Fussell left, not out on 48. Naomi Sheikh not out on 11. I don't think she'll mind too much, Mariam, with that winners' medal to take home today. So a really terrific performance to back up that outstanding win over Grange this morning. All set up by the bowlers again. Naomi Sheikh with 4 for 11. Jenna Stanton 2 for 18. Moon Mugis 2 for 14. Emily Norris with 1 for 20 earlier on today. Only the standout batter for West this morning being Molly Payton. But there's a look at the card that we've just seen after just 10 overs and a ball. West of Scotland have secured the 2023 Beyond Boundaries Women's Scottish T20 Cup. So there's a summary of the match. A really outstanding performance from this side. So well deserved. And we'll be back shortly with the presentations. So join us again for that. It's the presentation ceremony for the Beyond Boundaries Scottish T20 Cup, which has been won in emphatic style by West of Scotland. We've seen a fantastic day's cricket here at Ducat Park. Our thanks first of all to everybody that's made it possible, Perth Ducat Cricket Club, all the volunteers who've done such an amazing job in helping us put this day on. So we've seen some fantastic cricket, as I say, and all sponsored by Beyond Boundaries. This is the 7th year of their sponsorship of this competition, the 6th tournament in all with COVID, and delighted to say Keith Wilson, who is the chair of Beyond Boundaries, is with me. Keith, tell us a little about Beyond Boundaries as a charity.
Thanks, Jake. Well, first of all, Beyond Boundaries are delighted to sponsor this event. But briefly, we're a young Scottish charity. We fund programmes that seek to use cricket in any of its forms to help transform lives of young, underrepresented and disadvantaged people in Scotland. There's 3 main legs that we're involved in. Probably the most obvious one is women and girls in the context of today, but I'll leave that to the end. The other 2 aspects that we're involved in is with disadvantaged communities. So this is run through what we call our House At programme, which goes into disadvantaged communities. It uses tailored age group specific cricket related activities to get the kids engaged, helps with physical activity, mental health, and also just building confidence and resilience in the youngsters. That's been running now for several years in 3 places in Glasgow: Govanhill, Springburn and Pollokshields, and from this year it's also being rolled out in 2 locations in Edinburgh. That's Edinburgh South, Craigmillar, and Pilton Muirhouse. The second leg is supporting people with disabilities. So Beyond Boundaries supports the rollout of the Disability Cricket Champions Club programme in Scotland. So that is basically providing support and encouragement to cricket clubs to make it more accessible for people with disabilities to get engaged, playing, scoring, watching, helping, etc., etc. So we've now started our 3rd year of that, so we're up to 8 clubs, which span from Fraserburgh in the northeast down to Galloway in the southwest.
And as we say, though, today is all about women's cricket, and you mentioned that a little earlier, 4 fantastic teams that we've seen today. Tell us a little bit more about what Beyond Boundaries does to support the women's game.
Yeah, the development of the women's and girls' game is a specific objective that we're working very closely with Cricket Scotland on. At the moment, there's probably 3 aspects to that. So the first one is the sponsorship of the Wee Bash programme, which I hope some of you are aware of, which is basically a very participative, simple format where all the emphasis is on fun. The benefits of that probably are at 2 levels. So for the participants, there is that social engagement, physical activity and fun, but also it does give more women and girls an introduction to cricket, and they may feed on to some form of hardball cricket in due course. The second aspect is the development of female coaches. So this was identified as a key barrier to the development of the women's game. So we now provide funding for women to get some coaching training, on the understanding they're then going back to their clubs or communities and rolling it out. And last and certainly not least, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're delighted to continue to support the Scottish Cup, the T20 Scottish Cup, which was today. We believe strongly there should be a showpiece, just something for the women and girls game to have a finals day. I'm a great believer in it being a finals day rather than just a final. It does allow the perhaps currently less experienced players to see some of the better players, the Scotland internationalists playing it, and they go, oh, I could do that. Maybe not today, but I could do that. So yet again, it's been a fantastic day's sport. There always has to be a winner, but I would really like to congratulate and thank all the participants. As ever, it was performed in a very competitive environment, but always in a very friendly environment too, which I think is fantastic. So thank you all.
Well, I know everybody is itching to get on with the presentation ceremony, so let's do just that. If we could ask first of all the umpires to come forward. And on to our team's gallant runners-up, Watsonians, captained by Emily Tucker. And of course to our winners, and if I could ask in the customary style if skipper Nadia Tolliday could come last in line, but two outstanding performances from west of Scotland today, champions of the Beyond Boundaries Women's T20 Scottish Cup. So if I could the big lift. If I could get Nadia to come across for a little word as well. I know I'm so sorry interrupting your celebrations here, but Scottish Cup champions, how does it feel?
I'm just so excited. We were just saying that we've been together for 5 years and we've spent 5 years trying our hardest to win, and I've got such a wonderful team and we've just finally done it, and I'm just ecstatic. I can't actually speak.
I mean, an absolutely fantastic performance today. You know, emphatic with the ball from ball one of game one. Naomi Sheikh with 8 wickets over the course of the game, and then that fantastic innings from Marion Fussell there to take you home, 2 10-wicket wins as well.
Yep, no, I'm just so proud, and to mention that those 2 girls have just done me so proud as well, and also the rest of the team. I'm a good captain because I have a great team who just perform every week, and I'm just so proud of them. So yeah,
I won't keep you any longer. Enjoy the celebrations.